Right, you're in for a treat today, no pun intended. Welcome back. Today we are going to, I better give this dog this treat first. Sit, paw, good girl. Today we have a couple of in-person check-ins to do first, and then we are going to go and hit a session with my client Vicki. We're going to do her lower session and just go over the breakdown of that. Vicki is a jacked bikini athlete, jacked, strong as fuck. But first we've got a in-person check-in with Scott, who is around 2 weeks out from the PCA universe, and then we've got Craig, who is 6 or 7 weeks out from the PCA first timers in Derby. So both of those shows are actually going to be in the same location, just different times. Now, I don't really care not to say this, but Scott has been going through a significant amount of stress for probably the last 6 weeks. Now, this isn't a cop-out, but again, we've covered reels on how stress can really impact the physique. We're doing our absolute utmost to keep the physique in the place we want. We've just run a couple of medium days, so to speak, increased carbs, and it has definitely improved the look. But again, we need to be fucking shredded for the show, so we can't keep relying on these higher days. We need to dig. With Craig is a very busy individual. You've seen the work he's done in the Fox's Den, and he takes that same level of drive into his workouts, into this, and he's had, just like Scott, he's had an incredible transformation, and I cannot wait to see Scott compete at the universe. I can't wait to see Craig compete at the back end of this month, and to train alongside Vicki today, because I know she's gonna push me hard as much as I'm gonna push her. We'll give you some cues, we'll go over her setup. Her session is not necessarily long, but again, Vicki is somebody that is very performance driven. She executes at a high standard, so you know that those breaks in between sets are going to be productive, so it might be a long session. Front, relax. Or are you coming up? What are you trying to do, you little monk? Quads harder. Bring your heels in a little bit more. Yeah, quads harder. Reset the shot. I want hard as you can. And quarter turn. Straight on the glutes. Good. Chest up. Blow out. Good. Quarter turn. Straight on the glutes. Nice. Straighten them shoulders for me. Good. Blow out. Good. Twist to me a little bit more. Good. Breathe. And front double bicep. I want you to go. Yeah. Good. Think less about your core in this shot and more about the top. Quads harder. Chest. Good. Side chest. So you see this shot, we need to change it, because we do this, yeah, and then this shoulder rounds forward, like your posture's like this.
Yeah, it's to try and fight to keep balance.
But then what we're doing is, how can I put it without, I'm gonna have to get a little bit naked. Nipple.
Oh dear. That's fucking gross.
We want to kind of go where at the minute you're doing this, and then you're like that, right?
Yeah.
Where we need this shoulder pulling back, which you are, like here, you're able to show tricep, but look at how hunched over I look.
Yeah.
Right? So I look small. I am small. But then if I pull this back, my chest looks bigger because it's more proud. I should be able to balance. Then here, twist. The only thing I really need to tense in my lower is my glute, because my hamstring's gonna be working. And then I'm here. Good. Better. Now I want this pec higher. Not the shoulder, the pec. Good. Twist a little bit more this way. Blow up. No. Can you see that shoulder come forward? And look at how That looks better. Right, let's go front relaxed. Talk me through as well, you know, as you're doing this. So Craig has just got back from a posing session with coached by Stewie, who has had a lot of input on a lot of the TBF clients across the time he has, and he's had a massive impact on Craig's journey so far. So we're going to go into front relaxed. Scott can kind of agree to this, or this, and Andrew, is this pose meant to feel somewhat hard to hold. If you can literally stand there like waiting for a bus for an hour, like there's something on, so I want here, better, good. But when I go into this, again, it's hard because I don't want too much in. So I want you to have this here, and I want you to almost force your arms down into it. So you're almost pressure, can you feel the tension through this now? Chest up, bend the knees a little bit more. Take a bit wider stance. Good, chest up, trap, chest up. Good. Straight on the glutes for me, Craigie boy. Big chest up. And blow out for me. Good. That's better. Chest up. There we go. Good. Harder. Blow out. Chest up. Tense your glute. Don't let me see this. And twist it a bit more. Crunch on the obliques a little bit. Good, good. And to the front. Front double bicep. See what you did there? He has this tendency, and we were talking about this earlier actually, with Scott's side try. So you're in this, and then you have this, like you go straight to the abs again. And it's like, as we drop more body fat, this will tighten up. There, that's all you need to do. That's perfect. Because what happens is you're here and you crunch down, you're gonna lose that top line. I want harder on the quads. Just arrived at Ultra. We've got Vicki putting us through her lower session today. She's going to talk us through her stretch routine.
We are doing the lion hamstring curl. I typically, when I'm setting up for this exercise, try to line up my knees, my ankles, and my hips, and then I will lay on the cushion and try to push my hips into the pad. I do a lighter weight just to start off, just to get the hamstrings a little bit warm.
As Vicki went through that then, and you saw that not only the intent on the muscle being trained, but also the intensity, right? Is Vic could quite easily add 3 or 4 pins here, right? And the chances of her being able to keep that emphasis on her hamstrings is going to be very little. A lot of people complain with calf pain. Their hips will come up and they'll almost turn it into like a semi-seated ham. You'll be like this. And you got to look at it as like, if you are a bodybuilder and you want to build your physique, we need to really dial in what we're doing. I personally have taken so many steps back in my training journey because I always get caught up on load. And as bodybuilders, we're still going to have that ego because there's a powerlifting den. You're going to see some absolute freaks train and you see their physique and you're almost going to go, I need to be as strong as that person. But if you probably looked at that person 5-10 years ago, they wasn't that strong. Here, I'm going to do a couple of warm-ups. Typically, my approach to warm-up is 2 or 3 reps on a weight, going up, and I'll get to a point where I'm like, I'm not going to get 8 reps here. Now, what's going to humble me with today is, this girl is, and I've said this, is probably one of the hardest working people I know in the gym. And it's because the gym isn't here for her physique. The gym isn't here for just her mental health, but the gym is here for a place to fucking do what she enjoys and loves. And if you don't love this, you are just going to come in here and go through the motions. And I think everyone would agree on that.
Slow, slow, come on, come on, come on. Come on, come on, come on. I feel like the intensity is there. You know, I feel like you can see the temptation to
Speed it up.
rush it, but you remind yourself, don't you? You're like, that's not what I'm like. Pain is
I'm
gain.
under pressure.
Yeah.
There would have been 10 more reps in there.
Yeah. I think a thing for me recently as well is I used to have my feet like dead spread out, like
Wide.
but actually that you can feel that more your adductor rather than your ham. You know, and that's why I think of the line between my hip, my knee, my ankle, you know, because then I can actually feel it a lot more on my hamstrings. Okay.
Something I want to just say here is a reason I'm so comfortable and confident in allowing Vicki to explain what we're doing on each given exercise is the duration of time I've coached Vicki. Not only have I probably helped educate her, she's taken it upon herself to educate herself. She'll often, not so much now, but at once she'd often challenge me to things, ask my opinion, and also give hers based on what she's watched, listened to on podcasts, and so on and so on. So it's like she could literally be the only voice of this session because she's going to reiterate either what I've taught her or what she's taught herself. And if after 4 years?
Yeah, big 5 this year.
Big 5 years this year. And if you've been with a coach for 5 years and you can't do that, get a receipt and get your money back. But again, no. If you have no emphasis on trying to educate yourself through your coach, then that's why in 5 years you will know nothing. Vicki has very much made this about her future as well, because coaching isn't going to be something that you have permanently. You're going to get to a point where you either know exactly what you need to know, or life changes and your goal isn't the stage or your goal isn't bodybuilding, but you still want to be able to go into a gym and fucking train and know how to handle your nutrition. But yeah.
But I think this is a good point to make, because like when you come gym and inevitably like you are not always going to be able to get on the kit that you want. That used to like drive me mad, but now I think, you know, adapt and overcome. Like I can warm up on this and then we could go over to the other piece of kit and use that. I also think this is slightly heavier, like unloaded than that one is. Yeah. With this, I also like to try to line my hips to my heel, where my heel is going to be under the bar. So when I'm descending, I can keep my back straight, my arms forward. But obviously this has got a slight decline.
Grease. On my elbow, talk to the 6 deep. It's fuck no, tucking in a bit. Look lean, look red, oh, lay it on thick. Look at me, look at that rose, look at that grease. On my elbow, talk to the 6 deep. It's fuck no, tucking in a bit. Look lean, look red, oh, lay it on thick. Look at me, look at that rose, look at that. Whole time I'm coasting, breaking the whip invoice. It was cold, did I call me these nits invoice? It was cold, did I handle my biz? Big noise, I was vocal and cloaking a bit. Bearing mind with the XO, kissing up the rim. Wonder why there's no net flow. Pockets very slim, don't know why I had to get
Yes.
some of my kin. Fix your mouth. Fix your mouth. Fix your tailbone. Fix your mouth. Fix your mouth. Fix your tailbone.
So if you actually watch that set and you focus on the emphasis on the tempo on the way down, like Vicki didn't speed that eccentric. She didn't drop. She didn't slut drop. She took that eccentric really well controlled. That change of direction at the bottom was controlled. Towards the end, if you're training hard enough to some degree, you are going to experience this, right? The only way you're not is probably the load is too light. And again, I need to say that with a pinch of salt, because I'm not saying that is good, but I'm saying when you're fucking truly challenging yourself, there's going to be some. My request on Vicki's next set is watch where her knees go, because as that load comes down, her knees will go in, sometimes her knees will go out. And again, that's not bad when you're dealing with these loads, but if she can get this load and her knees say traveling in that direction, it's there. I'm going to do my set, and guess what's going to happen? My knees are going to move. So it's not me emphasizing it and saying she's imperfect. It's me emphasizing for you watching this on what to watch for.
Go on. Come on. The set's good and the control is good. The only thing I'd say is you don't breathe. You can see you're holding your breath, and I think rather than thinking about how fucked you feel when you're set, if you concentrate on your breathing, then it allows your mind to go somewhere else. I think it like centers your nervous system, doesn't it?
So Vicki just said then that during that set, she was really trying to focus on the cues with her knees, right? Now, if somebody sent me a form video and then waited for me to feed back to their next set, I wouldn't, because yes, it's going to be beneficial for her to think about those cues, but also that information being delivered there and then can be very hard. When I used to PT, you almost have a traffic light system. Look at what's green, look at what's really good. Amber, and it's like risk assessment. Amber is, it's not going to put that person in danger, but it needs changing. And then there's red. Red is dangerous. Vicki wasn't performing anything in that set that was dangerous. And I should have probably said to her before that set, because changing it there and then is such a head fuck, because you're so confident approaching the set, and now you almost feel insignificant. Like,
I don't know. I don't think I would agree that that feedback for me in that moment was like negative. I think it was actually really helpful. I didn't have any lack of confidence in going into the set. If anything, I actually felt more confident because I knew you were there to spot me.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't have taken them last 2 reps if you weren't there. And I think having that feedback with the knees, you know, I really do feel the engagement in my quad and the control. So I think it was positive.
That's good. I'll shut up now. But no, but like at times I'll find that probably because Vicki is such a hardworking, she's very much stable in what she takes. Sometimes you can really knock somebody in that, and having a week to almost digest what's being given to go into your next session sometimes is more helpful. But brilliant. My hamstring hurts.
Yeah, feels good. I'll go up, but I'll put probably a 10 on
Yeah. I'll do
either side.
This is possibly one of the leg presses that you'll find people place their feet really high, really low. And I want to almost say, don't overthink it, but just try and be logical with what you're trying to do. Higher you go, the less knee flexion you're going to get. The less knee flexion you're going to get, the less you're going to engage with your quads. But the higher you go, you are going to feel a sensation in your hamstrings and glutes. You're probably going to emphasize your glutes a little bit more. But hamstrings, you're not going to fucking emphasize hamstrings on here. If you want to emphasize hamstrings, go to a lying leg kill. Oh. Oh no. Oh.
Breathe.
Oh.
Better.
I'm getting schooled today.
But it's also when mechanically I give out,
Yeah,
I'm
good.
like, what am I getting from that?
You can say this is like, you want to live fighting another day.
Yeah, and I want longevity in my training.
So what Vicki is saying here is, in that set, she racked it, and from her mind, mechanically, she fucked. Like, her grip was going, her ability to transfer force through her feet were going, and she could have probably been stubborn and got another 2 reps. And in 2 days' time, her knee could be worse. And again, as a female athlete, especially within bikini wellness, you're generally going to find these girls are training legs 3, maybe 4 times a week. And if you can't train your legs in the next 2 days, you certainly can't just trade that for an upper session, because the criteria is the criteria. And if you have an overdeveloped back or overdeveloped fucking biceps or triceps, you're going to be marked down. And we can't afford that at where Vicki is.
In my menstrual cycle, in my follicular phase, I'll take on every man and his dog, every plate in the gym. I feel great. And then in my luteal phase, I think I used to suffer a lot with the psychological element of it, like my hormones changing. I was like, oh, I'm not as strong. And yes, physically I may feel less strong, but I think that's where the mental element of it comes in. You have to push, you have to say, you know, my goals are bigger than like my hormones or how I'm feeling on the day. And then just come in and smash it still, even if, you know, comparatively it might be that 1% difference. But, you know, as long as I know I'm giving it everything I can, then that's all that matters. Breathe. Yeah. was a lot better tempo because you were breathing.
I watched your set. I want to touch on, because this session is giving me so much gratitude. Because I used to PT, right? I PT'd for a long time. And this person that I've coached is somewhat PT-ing me. I've put somebody in the position to almost correct me. Now, that doesn't highlight why I should be corrected, but we do all fall into bad habits as such. But to know that I'm not only making a difference to people's physique, health, mentality, but knowledge. And I could trust that person to take any one of my other clients through a workout and know they're in good hands. And I don't know why it's hit so hard in that, because it just feels good. It just feels good. And it's like we just got back from LA, and whilst I was there, I was waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and there was one morning, and I'll admit this, I was like, what the fuck have I got to do this for? Like, I'm on holiday. And I constantly remind myself, I get to do this. There was once upon a time, I'd have dreamt of doing this. And that feeling doesn't go. Yesterday, I sat at the computer from like 6 a.m. till 4:30. I was having calls with clients that are really struggling at the minute. Voice notes back and forth with clients and problems and solving their problems. And then over 35 check-ins, new inquiries. And I'm like, I love this shit. And moments like this, combined with that, is like, there's no amount of paycheck that's gonna replace gratitude for what you do. Because again, we've got to remember, I'm 36 this year. When I was 20 and obsessed with bodybuilding, I was doing jobs I hated. It was only at 28 I decided to make a change. And if people like Vicki didn't trust me to make that change, I'd still be a miserable fucker. Still am. Anyway, Vicki's back off set.
Because Mike has a deep disdain for me, he gave me squats, leg press, and now some single leg rear elevated split squats. And these are like glute bias, so I do it with my leg leaning a little bit inward, so just on the inside of my hip. And then I go just to about a right angle, just to push through my glute. Lean a little bit forward. Just try to get them booty gains. Doesn't it burn like it burns after you've done all that, doesn't it?
It's like, initially, if you saw my setup then, I almost set myself up to be in a stronger position. And then Vicki just corrected my foot placement, the intent, got me to actually breathe, which breathing is straight away gonna fix your core and toe position. And every single bit of that through my left working leg was my glute. Obviously there's a little bit of quad through the bottom, but then because I'm also emphasizing pushing through this leg, my rec fem, my hip flexor are all going to work. Now, you could see me putting my hand here. I wasn't gripping it. So all the intent still came through this, but I had something to help my mind focus on stability. If you're having to use that to anchor yourself up, you're not going to be growing your fucking glutes. You're going to grow your logbook. I'm actually going to have to amend Vicky's training plan as we train. Because again, evidently, with how hard Vicky trains and the intent she has, and this is why form videos are important, not just for the form, the intensity, because her giving this resets is not necessary. A lesson there for me, and one for Vic. She'll need to send me either a logbook details more, or her videos of her sets, because the volume needs to come down.
I like to make sure sort of the tops of my shoulder blades are on the pad. Hips are straight forward, in line with my knees, my ankles, and then when I'm doing the movement, I try not to overextend, so I'm putting all of it through my back instead of like my glutes. I just try to keep all the tension on my glutes. I don't like to come down too low because then I'll be doing quad more than I'll be doing glute.
As I was watching Vic through that set, what's also pleasing is that hip shift that we know that Vic commonly has. It doesn't occur during this exercise, which just, if you're watching this and you're somebody who performs this exercise and you feel that one glute is stronger than the other or such and such, go back into that part where it says try and emphasize a little bit more pressure through the other leg, the weaker side.
So for me, I know at this point in the session, if I was to say take the 15 off and put a 20 on, I'm not going to get anything out of that because this is like my third to last exercise. You know, we've already done 2 really heavy compounds. We've done a single leg exercise. Like, I'm tired, and at this point, I just want to focus on like stimulus rather than adding loads of weight on, because I know I'm going to get more out of that mind muscle connection than I am about pumping loads of weight.
So Vicky has pretty much cleared everything up in that setup. Commonly what you'll see here is people will hyper-extend, and it's because they're thinking of driving their glutes as high as they can, which will, to some degree, is going to shift the emphasis on their lower back, right? And commonly you'll have people do this, similar to when they do it on a hip extension, they'll do it on an RDL. And you have to take a look at your ass, right? Take a picture of yourself in that side angle, shivering your glutes back. Take a picture of yourself from the rear angle, and you'll start seeing where your glutes are and where your lower back is and why we don't want to hyperextend. The biggest and most common mistake I see within female athletes and training, especially lower, they train like they're fucking posing, right? A pose is meant to display the strengths of your physique. If you go to the rear shot in Bikini Wellness, there's gonna be some extension where you're pushing your glutes back to emphasize that. If you are immediately setting yourself up for an exercise in that kind of posture, you're just gonna get injured, right? We need to separate training and posing. The training is going to build the physique we need to display when we pose. We don't train how we pose. Your posture needs to remain upright. Your posture needs to be correct. If you're approaching, I see it even, I've seen wellness athletes go into a tricep extension with their ass kicked back. It's great. You're going to get a few likes on Instagram, but you're also going to get fucking bad lower back pump, and you're probably going to fucking slow down your training ability because you're going to have to take time off. please fix your fucking posture.
I think as well, like what Mike said about training and posing are two separate things. But I know, like, as a female in the gym, sometimes I've felt really worried to be kind of ugly when I train, or I've been worried about like my facial expressions or looking sweaty, anything. And I just think, you know, at the end of the day, I'm here to work hard. I'm here to build muscle. And sometimes that isn't going to be the most aesthetic thing when training, but it's given me so much more than, like, the muscle gives me so much more than a brief moment of like looking good. So yeah.
Miami 1988. Back of the shoes, prep paper planes. Noodles of ramen, some crazy ways. Sweat in my armpits. No bathing ape, these are everlast garments. Day to day, two with the border. Crazy thing.
You can tell by the vein in my fucking forehead.
I'm off frame. Use my name for relevance. Shame. Fix your mouth. Oh my god. If I have to listen to you, man, run in your fucking mouth anymore. Grease on my elbow, talk to the 6 deep. It's a fuck no, tucking in a bit. Look lean, look red, oh, lay it on thick. Look at me, look at that rose, look at that grease. On my elbow, talk to the 6 deep. It's a fuck.
Those feelings though, where like during the set, it's not great, but you know when you finished it and your glutes feel fucking like it's nice. It's almost like it's not effortless, but in comparison to an RDL glute drive, it is effortless. The cues are literally just stay. It's so hard because if you look at like the crossover is, again, and this is what we were talking about upstairs with the RDL, the crossover is your back. So it's like that movement now, we need to put some element of like, I don't want bigger upper back. I don't want denser traps. So it's like, this has to be replaced. This is last exercise, and as you can, hopefully you can take a lot from this session. If you have, please just leave a message, because it's hard to almost create content to put together stuff that is going to help. I try and stay authentic as possible, but I also want to help, and that's going to require some feedback. So if you've got to this point, please just leave a comment, whatever it is. But anyway, Vicki very much should have educated you a lot. You've seen the amount of muscle she has, you've seen the level of what she trains at, and hopefully you can implement some of the stuff in your own training. And just never ever stop to think that you can learn more, because you truly can. It's quite evident here that Vicki has installed in me that I need to fucking breathe more. And I think I get stubborn with that because I just want to fucking train. And again, a long time doing this, I feel embarrassed to admit that someone's corrected that. But I also have to look at it as every day as an opportunity to learn. Considering what we've just said about your back, in this shot, I have no worries. Because if you think about like NPC, you'd have your hair naturally down, so you wouldn't be able to see it. Like you're gonna pull it like around probably in this pose. If it was naturally hanging, you'd probably push it over to the shoulder. This is nice. Yeah, because even you see down like the hamstring and quad where you've got that separated, like you've built a fucking shelf, mate. Good. Solid. Yeah, mate, it's solid. Good. So, let's try and break down the day, shall we? So, we've had Craig and Scott in for an in-person, and we're both competing later this year. We've had Vicki put me through her lower session, again, I hope there's a lot of value in that session to be taken away from it. We've had a sit down with Dylan, and you can quite literally from that is there's no criteria to fit within TrainedByFox. There's no like you have to be within this niche, you have to be with this. Like you can be anyone. Like I can't wait to see this guy here eventually compete one day and look back at his before and after. And again, if you look at Craig's before and after, if you look at Scott's before and after, fuck me if you could see Vicky's before and where she is now. It's obscene, and it is to some degree the emphasis is always going to be average to athlete. And that isn't me getting you to athlete because you want to compete, it's me getting you to athlete because I think personally if you can encourage yourself to have some of the traits of a good athlete, you'll have a better life, you'll have more freedom, you'll enjoy that. But anyway, I'm waffling. If you got this far, thank you for watching. Please click the like, share and subscribe button, and give some feedback in the comments below if you want to see more and what it is. Again, your feedback is appreciated. Bye bye.